What's up, everybody? I'm in San Francisco, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about hostel life in San Francisco. So let's go. I'm doing some travels around the US this summer, and before I was staying in Portland with my friend, Mia. Thanks so much for hosting me. But now I've been in San Francisco for a bit. I've been here as a solo traveler, and this has been my hostel I've been staying at. And I'll be honest, the vibes in this hostel hasn't been like a true hostel vibe. It's been very, everyone keeps to themselves, and I think that shows kind of like the culture of the city, that people around here, they really keep to themselves and they don't converse with others that they don't know. I thought, you know, staying in a hostel would meet more people, or at least someone, but unfortunately that's not been the case. And it's not been that I haven't been talkative, but everyone is literally always glued to their phones. And when you're like out and about, obviously people are like super rushed and like they aren't even paying attention whatsoever. So that's been my experience this far. But I'm gonna show you a little bit about the hostel and do a room tour. Okay. So here is the hostel. You have like your own bed, and then they've also got a sink. Hello. And you've also got your own lockers to put your stuff in. So that's good, nice, secure. And you have your own light charging thing, so all of your valuables are right next to you. So that's good. I've got the city view, and I keep it open a little bit for some fresh air. However, it's super noisy at night, so that's not good. Oh my gosh. All of a sudden, it is so extremely foggy. That is literally what San Francisco is like. San Francisco, the weather changes so drastically, because it can be really nice and warm and sunny one moment, like 75, right? And then all of a sudden it's super windy, super cold. You need a scarf, you need a jacket, all of that, and it becomes so windy and your hair becomes messed up. That's how my hair becomes. So this has been my best friend, this scarf. This is my scarf from Morocco. I love it. So yeah, it's so good, because if you get cold, scarves are the best things for travel. Like, for real. Look! Yes, this is made from cactus silk. First things first, I gotta grab a mask. It's still COVID times, and I don't want to be catching anyone's germs. So, let's go. Alright, so everyone has like their own rooms, and they are dorm style. Here's the hallway. Pretty secure. And let me show you. So there are narrow staircases. And look, woo! Pretty cool. It's a very historic building for sure. Okay, so I'm gonna show you the kitchen and the common areas. So let's go. So there's balconies, but they don't suggest we go there. So let's go to the kitchen. Wow. Got pots and pans for cooking, sinks, utensils, cooking, microwave, some of this. And this is where I'm storing my food, because you definitely need to cook, for sure. And you can store it in here. So what I've learned from staying in this hostel is people, they just stay to themselves. They don't really talk to you. And the common areas, usually people aren't really hanging out in them. But I'm gonna show you the common area, which is like the living room hangout place. And unfortunately, this hostel has not been hosting many social events, which is usually the fun thing about hostels. All right, so we're going. Here's a map of San Francisco. Some things to do. Here's the common area. So, as you can see, a lot of people, they definitely keep to themselves or they're just not around whatsoever. So, for meeting people, this hostel has not been very social at all. No one really hangs out in the common areas. And the hostel doesn't offer very many things to do. That's usually like the fun thing about staying in hostels is the ones I've stayed in Europe, Morocco, Asia. They have like free bike tours, free social events, free walking tours, and people are playing games in the common area. The hostel organizes events for people to socialize and meet one another, but this hostel has been lacking that a lot. So I'm like sitting in this window right by the balcony. It feels pretty awesome. So yeah, it's nice. What's up? I'm not sure how safe it is. I'm totally doing it, I don't care. Yes. What's up? What's up? Yep. So here we've got beautiful buildings. Totally beautiful, right? It smells like the city. And I am on the balcony of the hostel. Yeah, why not? Yes. So I'm gonna go back in now and show you more. Alright, so they do have laundry room, so you can do your laundry. Let's see. Here we go. Here's the laundry room. You can swipe your card or use change. It's not free, which sucks. But yeah, you can do your laundry. Yeah, that is a tour of the hostel, and truthfully, I'm gonna tell you about it. It's located like right around everything within walking distance in San Francisco, but it's definitely in a not safe area. It's located right on the outside of what's called the Tenderloin District. So I'm back in my room and I'm actually packing because I'm gonna be leaving this hostel, and I would have left earlier. However, I booked it for long, and also they don't do refunds. When I checked in, I felt not welcomed because the staff really didn't welcome me, and in the middle of while they were checking me in, they forgot what they were doing, and that just made me feel super weird about it. I kind of knew at that point that this hostel wasn't going to be super fun or social or anything based off of that, but I had arrived in San Francisco at nighttime, so I'm packing up my things, gonna say goodbye to the San Francisco downtown hostel. My stay here has been I'd say a 5 out of 10, maybe 6 out of 10. I'd say a 6 out of 10. Cause the hostel's been nice. Inside the hostel I felt safe, but it's just been rather boring. It's not a social hostel whatsoever. And also I had wished that they had stated on Hostel World that the location of the hostel was right by the Tenderloin District. They should really put that in there so people are properly informed, because as a solo traveler, me, I wouldn't recommend staying in this hostel for most solo travelers, I really truthfully wouldn't, because of it being right by Tenderloin District, and you really need to be super aware of yourself, your belongings at all times. And yeah, that's just not fun to have to worry about that all the time, but unfortunately that's just kind of how San Francisco is. I've learned since I've been here. So let's get to packing. Shall we? So as I'm packing, I'm just going to talk briefly about my time in San Francisco. So San Francisco honestly wasn't what I had imagined it was going to be like, and sometimes that happens when traveling, right? And I don't know, a lot of people in the US had told me that San Francisco is such an awesome city, you've got to go whenever you get the chance. So I took the chance and I came. But with what I actually like to do in my travels, I prefer nature. I prefer more wholesome experiences. I'm just really not like a city life person. So when I came here, I don't really know what I was expecting, but it's not like the movies. It's not like all of the glamorous pictures on Instagram. And really, travel isn't like all those glamorous pictures on Instagram. The raw version of travel is much different at times. And so I found when coming to San Francisco, the raw thing about San Francisco was poverty, the wealth gap, the amount of homeless, forgotten drug addicts on the streets that fill the streets, which it gives a depressing feeling, and it also at the same time, it's not good to see. And it's kind of hard to take in when coming. In a way, it could be seen as like a cultural shock, right? Because when traveling abroad, you're hit in the face with things usually that have to do with culture, maybe language, getting around a place, cultural differences. But for me, coming to San Francisco, the hard thing was trying to enjoy the city when I was walking around and just seeing all of the very high amounts of homeless people. And I know that the city is trying to do its best to help this. However, it just made it really hard for me to actually enjoy the city. I really enjoyed, though, walking around Chinatown and getting delicious food, supporting locally, and also I really enjoyed going to the Golden Gate Park. In the Golden Gate Park, there are lots of gardens, botanical gardens, conservatory flowers, and I could just be in nature again. So I did all of the touristy things in San Francisco, and I really gave it a shot. One of my best friends, she lived here ever since college, so for the past 2 years, but she just recently moved, and I listened to all of her suggestions on what to do, but I really still wasn't feeling it at the end of the day, and you know what? That's okay. You don't have to fall in love with a place everywhere you go. It's about experiencing the place, learning about it, and truly trying to understand the place. I've learned a lot about San Francisco as a whole, and also a lot of problems that we've got going on in the US. I'm not going to get into that too much, but really I just did a lot of reflecting whilst here, and I learned a lot about myself and what I'm truly passionate about at this time in my life. And I still love traveling. I love being nomadic and going all around. And I truly can't wait for all of the other travels that I have got in my life, and also that I'm able to share this message with you all about my travels and what it is that I do. Why do I like traveling, Learning about the culture, it is so amazing because you learn stories from the people, from experiencing it, from being there, and Also, if you do things at a more slower pace, you don't just do the touristy things. You try and speak with the locals and connect with people who are there. You understand what is going on in that country, in that place, in that region. And you connect with it. You connect with the people. You connect with the ground. You connect. And that is why traveling is so essential and so important for me. Because connecting and making connections with people can help you learn about the world at whole. And that in itself is why traveling is so beautiful. It's beautiful for the soul. It's freeing. And it's being a free spirit. Learning about the world, because you truly can never stop learning, my friends. So with this message, I hope you learned more about San Francisco and what it was like. So thank you for coming. Peace, love, and light. Peace.